Hello everybody and welcome back to another daily update. My name is Akash and today we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum and a couple of altcoins and discuss what's going to happen next. Right, before we get into that, please make sure to give me a follow on Twitter at Mangeka with the zero at the end. Click this link in my bio. It will take you to my YouTube channel where I post content I try to post content every single day. It's not possible, but I still, like, whenever I do post content, I make sure to pack it with quality. For example, this particular video that I did a few days ago, I provided setups, and most of the setups have hit their targets. A couple have hit target one. They still need to hit target two. So in this video, I'm gonna try and update what's happening in this one, in these coins. But mainly, we're gonna be discussing what's happening with Bitcoin and the possibility of a dead cat bounce, right? So yeah, let's get into that. First and foremost, let's take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin from a higher time frame perspective, right? And for that, let's go on a one time frame, right? The 30-day moving average has been pretty significant since a Bitcoin price, produced a daily candlestick close below that on 6th of April, right? Since then, the price has been rejected. Any attempts to move above that has been met with extreme selling pressure and rejection, right? So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the latest one here was 7th on the 16th and 17th of July. After that, the price kind of broke through that and is now retesting this 200-week moving average. As you can see, the price is already testing the 200-week moving average, and the last retest, like, it depends on what chart you're looking at. Right now I'm on a Bitstamp USD BTC USD chart. On July 8th, there was supposed to be a retest. On a couple of charts there is a retest, but on this chart there isn't. So technically this is the first retest. Regardless, right? The Bitcoin price is retesting the 200-week moving average, and I doubt it's gonna close above that, right? And it's going to be decided in a few days. But before we get into the lower time frame perspective, I want to say that a rejection here could potentially push Bitcoin all the way down to this particular box here, which is the liquidity pool extending from 18.6K to 19.2K. And the reason why I feel like that's going to happen is that the price has left a lot of liquidity in this area, which has literally been uncollected. Like, if you look at this particular range, you're extending from 17.6K to 21.7K. Usually in a range bound movement, what happens is the price sets the range, then sweeps the range, goes back down, sweeps the range low, and then establishes directional bias, and then goes in either direction, right? Now this may happen a couple of times. So sweep the range high, sweep the range high, and then sweep the range low, and that's exactly what's happening. Like, the first sweep was on 26th June, and the next sweep was on July 8th. And then we get a full-blown sweep followed by a candlestick close above the range high at 21.7K. Now, a confirmation that the price is going to reverse is going to occur if Bitcoin produces a daily candlestick close below 21.7K. Now, it would be a little more helpful if the price closes below this 30-day moving average that you see here, 30-day EMA, in which case I'll be looking to short Bitcoin from here to all the way up to this point here, at least here, which is 11.5% downswing. But ideally, I would want Bitcoin to sweep the range low here, right? This is my first scenario. Like, there is a ton of liquidity resting here as well, because the people that giga long Bitcoin 17.5K still have their stop losses below here, right? So that is one way to look at it. Like, I'm just guesstimating here right now, but if you look at what's happening using liquidity platforms like HighBlock or trading light platforms, I think you can see that there is a ton of liquidity resting here, right? So the first scenario includes price coming down into this zone and then followed by a sweep of 17.5K. This seems like a pretty normal and logical target, right? But I think coming down now wouldn't make a lot of sense. But, like, it would, but it wouldn't have a lot of momentum behind it. It wouldn't liquidate a lot of investors, because a lot of investors are still kind of cautious despite this pump here, because they're still hoping to see if this was a weekend pump, a result of the weekend pump, right? So one way where the market makers or like institutions or manipulators, you could call them whales, whatever you want to call them, right? One way they would stand to gain a lot more is if they push Bitcoin price above the 200-week moving average into the 50 retracement level here of this larger range extending from 31.7k to roughly 17.5k. Actually, let's make this here, right? So this range extending from 32.4k to 17.5k. This was the overall range. Now, if Bitcoin price goes all the way up to the midpoint of this range, tags this level here, it would make a lot of people euphoric, right? Bitcoin price is at 25k. A lot of people will be expecting Bitcoin price to head up to 30k, right? So this here, a retracement here would catch a lot of investors off guard, and then a sudden move down to 17.5k, perhaps even lower than that to 11.9k seems plausible, right? So this particular move, second scenario, is where Bitcoin price goes up to 25k and then takes a U-turn down to 17.5k, perhaps even lower than that. Right now, this is a move that would catch a lot of investors off guard, and this would be a perfect dead cat bounce. That's what I'm expecting from Bitcoin. So let me just clearly mark this out so I can refer this in the next video. Right, scenario one includes Bitcoin price going back down, something like this and this. Right, and scenario two would include Bitcoin price going up here and then coming all the way back down here. Right, another level that I'm looking at is 11,900. Right, this is where I feel like there's going to be a macro bottom. Okay, 20k. Hold on. Okay, this is where I feel like is gonna be. This is a place where Bitcoin price could bottom on a high time frame perspective. So this is what I'm expecting, right? First scenario, let me mark that in blue. Second scenario, I'll mark that actually second blue. Third one wouldn't be that favorable for me. So yeah, this is what I'm expecting, guys. From a mid to long term outlook for Bitcoin. Right, let's head into the shorter time frame perspectives. Right, Bitcoin price formed. Let me just mark out the Monday's highs properly. 18th, 19th. Okay, cool. They're marked perfect. Right, so on a 4-hour time frame, you can see that the Bitcoin price has formed a Monday high at roughly 22.7, and then it has swept the Monday's high, which was my QD short. I already shorted Bitcoin and I already shorted Ethereum yesterday, but I kind of got scammed out of my wick here. Let me just see if that's in here. Yep, this was my position because I expected Ethereum price to reverse, but unfortunately the price did, move a lot higher than my stop loss, which is a bad thing, right? So regardless, right, it was a pilot position, so I'm not worried much about it. What I'm expecting now is for Bitcoin price to go lower, sweep the Monday's low, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm expecting like over the course of 24 hours today, and by the next by probably Thursday, I'm expecting the price to sweep the Monday's low. So yeah, that is what I'm expecting from Bitcoin. Ethereum, in that regard, honestly, I would love for Ethereum price to retest 1284 like I mentioned yesterday, but the initial, as you can see here, there is another FVG that is formed. Hold up. This is the one. Technically, there is an FVG all the way down to 1383, and that's where I'm expecting to be the first target. If I do short Ethereum again, this is where I'm going to be booking profits first, and then the rest I'm going to let it ride, because there's another FVG that could extend all the way up to 1222, but I think it would stop around 1284. 1284 would be my TP2, this would be my TP1. Right, that's what's happening with Ethereum price. There's not a lot interesting for XRP. The price has managed to break above this declining trend line and is now retesting this as a support floor. But if Bitcoin price continues to drop lower, then this support level would be meaningless. In which case, you can expect XRP price to head lower, fill this gap that you see here, and bounce off of this H4 demand zone. Technically, it is up to this point. Yep. So this is the H4 demand zone that I'm looking at. Already doing that, but we could probably dip a lot deeper into this. Perhaps even retest 0.340. But right, like altcoins usually do not respect a lot of technical stuff, mainly because of what Bitcoin is doing. Even though there is a very stable support level here, sometimes the support level kind of gets invalidated briefly because Bitcoin is undergoing a sell-off. In which case, your positions, if you kept it based on technicals for altcoins, then you could probably get stopped. So for now, I think a retest of 0.340 seems plausible. Even before that, if we bounce off of the 0.348 with demand zone, then it still would be fine. Right. As for the targets for this, I still believe that a sweep of 0.387 is likely. Even if XRP price starts running from here, you're looking at a 9% upswing. Followed by this, there is a ton of uncollected liquidity here. Right, there is a ton of uncollected liquidity resting below these lows, those highs. Same here. Right, so obviously this was an equal high that was formed here, basically. So this is the first level. Beyond that, we have all of these highs that needs to be swept. Right, so technically we could go all the way up to 0.44 or 0.45 if you're looking at a whole number. So yeah, that is what's up with XRP. And yeah, let's take a look at the coins that I did in this particular video. Let's take a look at BTC is done, ETH is done. Let's take a look at AVAX, EGLD, and SNX. AVAX. I don't have a long position, so I will have to. I don't think I've mentioned. Yep, my target was 21.1, which was obviously hit. 21.1 was somewhere here. Interesting. The target. So obviously AVAX has done its part. Now, what you can expect from AVAX is a retracement down to the high time frame resistance, which is now flipped into support floor at 21.4, followed by an attempt to move higher up to 27.8. Right. Let's take a look at the next coin, which is EGLD or SNX. I think we'll have to. Where's the? Oh, I think it was in here. Yep. Okay, our entry point was somewhere around here at 18.8. The exit was 21.3, which was obviously tagged, and the price has done pretty neatly after that. In this chart, as I showed you, the price could go up to, what's the level? Price could go up to 28. So that's AVAX. Let's take a look at SNX next. Synthetics. Yep. All right, so Synthetics almost hit its target. This was my TP1, 2.92, and then we have 3.2. I would like, if you guys haven't closed this, if I were you holding this position still, I would close it for whatever profit that I have, because I'm expecting the price to retrace for a lot of altcoins. For SNX, it could be around here before we make the move up. Right, again, this is expecting Bitcoin price goes above the 200-week moving average, which is the second scenario that I explained in the Bitcoin analysis. Right, let's take a look at the next coin, which is EGLD or Elrond. Yep, Elrond hit its TP1, which was the triangle's horizontal resistance level at 63.8, where we were very close to retesting the first resistance level at 68, but still hasn't done. So I'm gonna close this position as well. Like if I were you guys, let's take a look at the next coin, which is, I think it's done, right? So yeah, things are looking pretty good for Bitcoin. Like I mentioned, I'm expecting of the price to retrace down to the Monday's high, which also coincides with the weekly open. But that would mean that Bitcoin price has to kind of come back into this smaller. That would mean that Bitcoin price has to come inside or like sweep below the 21.7K, which is the range high of the initial rally that we saw here, right? So in which case you could be looking at scenario one that I explained here, right? So if the price does come down below 21.7K, then you could probably be looking at scenario one. So either way, I think things are pretty clear here. It's either going to be scenario one or scenario two. Even if price does sweep the Monday's low, like I mentioned, the price could still go up, which is technically scenario two as well. Right. So that is my take on Bitcoin. If you have any questions, make sure to comment on any of my Twitter posts. So yeah, have a great day. Peace.